Hello, friends. Welcome to Mr. Sleepy Science. In today's journey, you're about to dive into a mystery that goes beyond our imagination. We'll be talking about dimensions, those invisible layers in which our world exists. In this video, you'll learn why scientists believe that our life isn't limited to just 3 dimensions, but behind it, there could be countless mysterious layers hidden. This journey will take you from basic understanding to advanced physics. That too, in a simple and soothing language. So that while listening, you can reach a state of deep sleep, relaxation, and meditation. If you love exploring the mysteries of the universe, then subscribe to this journey with Mr. Sleepy Science and stay connected with us. Chapter 1. Introduction to Dimensions. Have you ever thought about how deep the world we live in actually is? How real is what we see with our eyes, and what's hidden behind it? Dimensions, or let's say layers. This is a word that might sound very technical, but its roots are connected to our everyday life. When you draw a straight line, when you make a shape on the ground, when you walk in a room, every time you're experiencing dimensions. Yet we don't realize it because it's so normal for us that we don't look into its depth. Imagine if you place a dot on a simple paper with a pencil, you've created a 0 dimension. This dot exists at just one place, without any length, width, or height. But as soon as you drag that dot forward, it becomes a line. This line is our first dimension. Now, if that same line is stretched away from its direction, we get a surface, which we call the second dimension. Our everyday life starts from this understanding. The easiest way to understand dimensions is to think of them like a story unfolding layer by layer. First layer, second layer, third layer, and each layer takes us deeper. But when scientists talk about dimensions, they don't stay limited to just length, width, and height. They ask if there's something more besides this. Is there another hidden layer that we can't see but affects our existence? This curiosity takes us toward the deepest and most mysterious discoveries in physics. Scientists like Einstein told us that space and time aren't separate. Rather, both combine to form a 4th dimension. This is where the world of dimensions becomes even more complex and fascinating. But wait, before moving too far ahead, we need to start this journey slowly. We'll understand dimensions in an easy and soothing language so that it not only finds a place in your mind, but also brings peace to your heart. This journey isn't just about science. It's like meditation, like a slow breath where you'll feel connected to the universe. So today, in this first chapter, you learn that the foundation of dimensions is quite simple. From a dot to a line, line to surface, and surface to our world. This start is very basic, but this foundation will take us forward. In the coming chapters, we'll move step by step toward those mysteries where dimensions go beyond our imagination and touch the depths of the universe. So now you can comfortably close your eyes, take deep breaths, and prepare yourself for that second chapter where we'll talk about the first dimension, a simple line, and how this line starts the language of the entire universe. Chapter 2. The first dimension, a line. Imagine there's a white paper in front of you. On that paper, you made a small dot. This dot is an existence in itself, but it has no length, no width, and no height. It's just a place, like a mark in emptiness. Now, if you start moving that dot forward, slowly a straight line gets drawn in front of you. This line is our first dimension. To understand the first dimension, we can call it length in the simplest language. This straight line moves in only one direction, forward or backward. On it, you can decide the position of any object, but it won't have any width or depth. Think of it like a railway track, but where there's only one direction and no expansion. If you stood on this line, it would be your entire world. You'd only have the option to move forward or go back. There would be no path to your left or right. There would be no existence of up or down. For you, every experience of life would be limited to just one line. Here's an interesting thing. We humans who live in 3 dimensions often ignore this first dimension. But this is the foundation on which all other dimensions stand. Without a line, you can't imagine a surface, and without a surface, the world of depth isn't possible. Now you might think, Why are scientists interested in such a simple thing? The answer is because dimensions aren't just mathematical imaginations. They describe the structure of reality. The first dimension teaches us that to understand the universe, we must first recognize the basic brick, and that brick is the line. Have you ever listened to music? In it, every tune, every note moves in a linear flow, from beginning to end. This is also somewhere like the first dimension. If we consider time as just a line moving forward, then it feels like life is also flowing on that one path. But remember, we're not looking at this journey only from a mathematical perspective. This is a meditative journey. When you calm your mind and focus on this thought of how a line formed from a dot, you'll feel as if you're standing on a straight path of your own life. The road ahead is infinite. The road behind is lost in memories. And this linearity is the identity of our life. The first dimension also teaches us that simple things are the deepest. This isn't just a straight line. It's the first breath of existence. This is why both scientists and philosophers agree that understanding dimensions is understanding life itself. Now, as we move forward in this journey, you'll see how this line, which looks very simple, becomes the basis for the next layers. Our next destination is the second dimension, a surface where not only forward and backward, but also left and right paths open up. This is the real magic when the world turns from flat to plane. So now take a deep breath, close your eyes, and think of that straight line glowing in the darkness. This is the same line that will take you to the next chapter where we'll unfold the second layer of dimensions. Chapter 3, the second dimension, a plane. Imagine there's an empty field in front of you. Ground spread all around, straight and flat. In it, there aren't just one direction, but two directions. Forward, backward, and left, right. This is the second dimension, which we call a plane. When we saw the line in the first dimension, it was only length. But as soon as that line is stretched away from its path in another direction, we get a surface. This surface takes us into the world of the second dimension. Now think if you lived inside this 2D world, what would your life be like? You could only walk forward, backward, and left, right, but up and down wouldn't even exist for you. Height would have no meaning for you, like a picture drawn on paper. If the people in that picture were alive, they could never imagine that there could be a world above or below them. For us, this imagination is a bit easier because we live in a 3D world. But if we put ourselves in that 2D universe and think, we'd feel like our life is very limited. This is what makes scientists think about dimensions. If the third dimension is hidden for a 2D being, could there be a hidden dimension for us too that we can't see or feel? To understand the second dimension, we can also take examples from everyday things, like your mobile or computer screen. Whatever images you see on it are all 2D. They have length and width, but they don't have real depth. Yes, we can create an illusion of depth through graphics, but actually, they're limited only to the surface. The point to note here is that the second dimension is very important in both math and art. In math, it's the world of geometry where triangles, squares, and circles are formed. In art, this dimension is the foundation of painting and designs. When a painter creates a scene on a canvas, they're expressing their imagination within that 2D plane. Now you can feel that understanding dimensions isn't just scientific curiosity. It's also part of our creativity and imagination. This is why the journey of dimensions not only stimulates the mind, but also brings peace to the heart. Slowly now we'll move beyond this surface. We saw that a line formed from a dot and a surface formed from a line. Now the next step is that when this surface rises in another direction, a new world will open before us. The third dimension, where there will be depth, height, and the same world we see with our eyes every day. So now take a deep breath, and with your mind's eye, imagine that flat surface, as if the universe has spread a vast canvas before you. This surface will take us toward the next chapter. The third dimension, the real picture of our actual world. Chapter 4, the third dimension, our living world. Where you're sitting right now, just look around. Your room, walls, door, table, chair, and even your own body, everything is part of the third dimension's world. This is the same dimension in which we're born, live, and create all our memories. We've seen so far that a line formed from a dot and a surface from a line. But after reaching the surface, if that surface is lifted up or down, we get depth. This depth creates the third dimension. Length, width, and height. These three coordinates together give us that space which we call space or sky. This is the 3D world. Here, every object has a shape, a volume, an existence. This is why we can hold an object with our hands, walk around it, and feel its weight. Think if a 2D being could see this 3D world, it would be nothing short of a miracle for them. For them, our rising, standing, or going behind an object and hiding would all seem unbelievable. Similarly, perhaps for us too, some higher dimension exists which we just can't understand today. Living in the third dimension feels very natural to us because this is our everyday world. But if we think deeply, this dimension is just as mysterious as any other. Why? Because in this dimension, we can feel the vastness of space. When you look at stars in the night sky, the distance you're measuring is a gift of this third dimension. In physics, the third dimension is the place where matter takes its full shape. Atoms combine to form molecules. Molecules combine to form structures, and these structures give us planets, mountains, and oceans. If we think of the building of dimensions as a house, the third dimension is its living room, the place where we live, breathe, and experience. But here's another interesting thing. The third dimension also limits our thinking. We often assume that this is the complete reality, but science tells us that this is just one layer, a layer that's visible to us. Beyond this, there could be something more. Still, for meditation, if you focus on the third dimension, you'll find it's extremely soothing. Close your eyes and feel that you're standing in a vast room whose walls are spread to infinity. You can touch the objects around you, feel their scent, see their shapes. This experience grounds you. It connects you to the universe. Now we've crossed 3 steps of dimensions, from dot to line, line to surface, and surface to depth, meaning our world. But the story doesn't end here. After this comes that layer which is the most mysterious for us, time. Let's move toward the next destination in this journey. The next chapter will take us into the 4th dimension, which we know as time. The same time that ages us, that moves us forward every moment, and that's the most mysterious power of the universe. Just stop for a moment and pay attention to the pace of your breathing. The breath you just took existed only for that moment. Now it's past, and the breath you're about to take is still hidden in the future. This is time, our 4th dimension. We live in a 3-dimensional world, length, width, and height. But if this universe is bound only in these 3 dimensions, everything would become static. There would be no movement, no change. Suppose a chair placed in your room is only in 3D space. It would just stay frozen in one place forever. But in reality, it's not like that. The chair gets old, dust settles on it, and one day it might break too. Why? Because it's bound in the stream of time. Time is the dimension that lets our life flow. We can say that whatever shapes and objects exist in the 3rd dimension, they become part of a story in the 4th dimension. This is why Einstein said that space and time aren't separate. Rather, together they form one fabric, space-time. Here's an easy way to understand this. Think you're watching a film. Whatever characters walk on the screen are actually made from frame by frame. Each frame is a still picture in itself. But when they're joined in the direction of time, the whole story forms. Our life is the same way. The joining of each moment gives us a continuous experience. Time's effect is everywhere. From morning to evening, the changing sky, the coming and going of seasons, a human going from birth to old age. All these are signs of the 4th dimension. Even our thoughts are bound by time. You can think of memories from the past, dream of the future, but you always live in the present. Time is often explained as a straight line, from past to present and present to future. But science tells us that it's not that simple either. Einstein's theory of relativity says that time is affected by speed and gravity. Meaning if you travel at very high speed, time can slow down for you, and if you're near a very massive object like a black hole, the flow of time can also change. This sounds like a science fiction story, but this is the truth of our physics. Think if time is slow for someone and fast for someone else, would both their lives be the same? This question takes us into the depth of the fourth dimension. But for meditation and relaxation, if you want to feel this idea, close your eyes and imagine you're sitting by a river. The stream of water is flowing in front of you. Every drop that has flowed away is the past. The drops that are about to reach you are the future, and the drop that's in front of you right now is the present. This is the real experience of time, continuously flowing, never stopping. So far, we've crossed 4 steps of dimensions. 3 dimensions give us space, and the 4th gives us time. But this journey doesn't stop here. In the next chapter, we'll see how Einstein combined space and time together and gave us a key to understand the universe from a new perspective. This opens the path toward the 5th dimension. So now comfortably balance your breaths and feel this thought within you that you're swimming in the stream of time. Because the next destination is Einstein and the magical world of relativity. Chapter 5. Einstein, Relativity and Space-Time. Think you're looking at the night sky. Stars are twinkling in their place. The moon is slowly moving across the sky. This scene seems still to us, as if everything is stuck in its place. But the truth is far more mysterious than this. This mystery is what Einstein's theory tells us. Relativity. Einstein explained to us that space and time aren't 2 separate things. Both together form one fabric which we call space-time. Imagine the universe is like a vast cloth. On that cloth, you place a heavy object, like a ball. The cloth will bend. Now if you roll a small ball on that cloth, it'll start moving around the big ball. This is exactly what happens in our universe. Heavy objects like Earth and Sun bend this space-time, and this bending is what we feel as gravity. Newton had considered gravity an invisible force that pulls things. But Einstein said gravity isn't a pull. Rather, it's the curve of space-time. Let's understand this with a very easy example. Suppose you're walking on a straight road. For you, the path is easy. But if the road suddenly takes a turn, you'll have to walk with that turn too. Similarly, when space-time bends, objects follow that curve. This is why Earth revolves around the Sun. The Sun has created a dip in space-time, and Earth is moving on that curve. Einstein's relativity theory forced us to understand time in a new way too. Earlier, we thought time is the same for everyone. But the truth is that time's speed depends on your situation. If you travel at very high speed, say near the speed of light, time will slow down for you. This is called time dilation. For example, if a twin brother stays on Earth and the other travels on a spaceship at the speed of light and returns, the brother on the spaceship will remain younger in age, meaning time flowed differently for both. This sounds like a dream, but it's been proven through scientific experiments. Now you can understand that Einstein showed us that time and place aren't rigid. They're flexible. They're the same fabric that can stretch, bend, and expand. This is the concept that opened the door to modern cosmology. For meditation, if you want to feel this idea, close your eyes and think you're standing on a vast ocean. Waves are slowly rising and falling. This ocean is space-time, and you're a small particle floating on it. The waves carry you, turn you, and decide your journey. This is Einstein's universe, a dynamic, living fabric. The impact of this thought was so deep that it prepared us for the next steps of dimensions. Because if space and time together can create such great power, what would the dimensions beyond be like? Now our next destination is the 5th dimension, a realm that's beyond our eyes, but exists in science and imagination. So now slow down your breaths and feel that you're standing on that same fabric of space-time that's spread everywhere. This fabric will take us to the next chapter, into the mysterious world of the 5th dimension. Chapter 6. The 5th dimension, beyond the known. If you've walked carefully with me so far, you've seen that we've covered a long journey. We started from our everyday three familiar dimensions: length, width, and height. Then we understood the mysteries of the fourth dimension, meaning time. And now we're standing at a point where our curiosity is calling us toward the fifth dimension. This is the part where the boundaries of science and imagination start touching each other. What is the fifth dimension? If we say in simple words, it's an idea in which we aren't limited to just time and space. Rather, we can reach all those possibilities hidden in our life, the universe, and reality. Have you ever thought that if one small decision in your life had been different, your whole story could have changed? Like you decided to stay home instead of going to school one day, or stayed silent instead of talking to a stranger. These small choices can take our fate on different paths. Scientists understand the fifth dimension this way, that it's the home of all those options and possibilities. Imagine you're reading a book. On every page of the book, the story moves forward. The first dimension is the length of that page. The second is its width. The third is the thickness of the page. And the fourth is the order in which you read them, meaning time. But the fifth dimension is that library that has thousands, millions of alternate versions of that same book. In one version, the hero wins. In another, he loses. In a third, the story never even starts. The fifth dimension brings all these possibilities together and lets us understand that reality is perhaps not just what we're seeing. In science, string theory is used to explain this. According to this theory, the basic elements of the universe are tiny vibrating strings. Just like different notes play on a guitar string, different particles and laws are formed from different vibrations of these strings. Now, if we look toward the fifth dimension, we can assume that all these laws don't work in just one way. Rather, they can work in countless ways, and each way can give birth to a new universe. Do you think this is just science fiction imagination? The truth is that many scientists believe that the possibility of the fifth dimension might be far more real than our four-dimensional experience. If you think about everyday life, it's like we're part of a flowing stream of water in a river. We feel the water is flowing in just one direction. But looking from above, you'll find that the river has different branches too, and each branch tells its own story. Now think what it would mean if reaching the fifth dimension were possible. It could mean that every choice in your life already exists somewhere. In one universe, you're a scientist. In another, an artist. In a third, maybe you never watched this video. This thought is as wonderful as it is mysterious. And this is the real power of the fifth dimension. It shows us possibilities beyond our imagination. Slowly, when you close your eyes and give this thought a place in your mind, you'll feel that reality isn't just what's in front of you. It's also what might be happening somewhere else. The fifth dimension is a window that connects our universe to the ocean of the multiverse. And this thought prepares us for the journey ahead. Because after this, we'll move toward the sixth dimension, where not just possibilities, but entire alternate universes stand before us. Are you ready to think that our universe isn't alone, but is part of countless universes? This mystery we'll have to understand in greater depth in the next chapter. Chapter 7, The Sixth Dimension, a Library of Universes. Now we've reached that point where our journey is about to become even more wonderful. You understood the fifth dimension as the home of all possibilities in our life and the universe. But now the sixth dimension takes us far beyond that. It doesn't just give us a sense of possibilities. Rather, it shows us a glimpse of entire different universes. It's like entering a vast library, where every book is the story of a different universe, and every book's events, laws, and realities are completely different from each other. Imagine you're standing in an infinite corridor. On both sides of this corridor are doors. Every door opens to a different universe. In some universe, the laws of physics are just like ours, but the events are different. Somewhere you're the same person, but your life has gone on a completely different path. And somewhere there's a universe where life never even originated on Earth. Somewhere the sun is blue, somewhere gravity is very high, and somewhere time flows at a completely different pace than we imagine. This row of infinite doors is the glimpse of the sixth dimension. Now the question arises, could such universes really exist? Scientists explain this through the multiverse theory. According to this theory, our universe isn't alone. It's just one bubble, in a lake of countless bubbles. Each bubble is an independent universe with its own laws and stories. And the sixth dimension is where the existence of all these bubbles meets together. To understand this in easy words, think. Suppose you have a vast book in which all possible mathematical equations and laws of physics are written. Now each page creates a new universe based on those laws. One page says gravity is very powerful, so their stars form very quickly. On another page, it says the speed of light is different, so the form of life there will be beyond our understanding. This book is the symbol of the sixth dimension. Now, why is this thought so deep? Because if the multiverse really exists, it means we aren't alone. This universe that seems so vast and unique to us is actually just one chapter in a book of countless chapters. And think, maybe somewhere in another universe, there's someone else like you. Same face, same name, but living a completely different life. Doesn't this thought excite you? The sixth dimension makes us realize that the boundaries of reality are far bigger than our eyes. When you keep this thought in mind and count your breaths, you'll feel like you're entering a deep meditative state, as if your consciousness is expanding and touching those countless universes. But here another interesting question arises. If all these universes exist, can we ever travel to them? Will science ever advance so far that we can open those doors and enter other realities? This question takes us toward the next chapter, because the seventh dimension explains to us how all universes and their possibilities are bound in a larger framework. Chapter 8. The seventh dimension, the cosmic network. Until now, we imagined countless universes in the sixth dimension, each universe with its own laws and realities. But the seventh dimension gives us an even more wonderful and deep perspective. It isn't just the existence of different universes. Rather, it's a vast network that connects them all. Think you're standing in front of a vast web. Every thread of this web is a universe. Some threads are close to each other, some far, but every thread is somehow connected to this web. This connection is the symbol of the seventh dimension. It tells us that universes aren't separate units. Rather, they're part of a larger structure. Like in a string of pearls, every pearl is connected. If we understand this in an even easier way, suppose you have a vast library of books. In the sixth dimension, we saw each book separately. But the seventh dimension shows us that all these books are different forms of the same language and rules. Meaning even though the laws of each universe are different, all are connected to the same deep principle or the same root source. Some scientists have tried to connect this to superstring theory and M theory. According to them, all dimensions and all universes are actually part of the same big mathematical and physical structure. The seventh dimension gives us a sense of that invisible thread that holds everything together. Now feel this thought in a meditative state. Close your eyes and imagine there are countless doors around you, each door opening toward a different universe. But now as you breathe deeply, you realize that all these doors are actually connected in one vast structure. You're not alone in a room. Rather, you're part of that web that connects everyone together. This feeling fills you with deep peace and a sense of expansion. The seventh dimension forces us to think about whether our reality is truly independent or we're all part of a larger pattern, a cosmic network. And if this is true, it could mean our consciousness is also connected to this network. When we meditate, when we get lost in dreams, perhaps we unknowingly touch this network. This thought takes us toward another deep search. If universes are connected to each other, is travel between them possible? Can we ever walk on this network and go from one universe to another? This question takes us toward the next chapter, where we'll discover the mystery of the eighth dimension. that place where every possible universe and every type of rule connect with each other to form an infinite pattern. Chapter 9. The Eighth Dimension, Infinite Patterns. Now we've come to that level where the scope of our imagination becomes even more vast. Understanding the eighth dimension is like looking at that map, which doesn't just include our universe or its parallel universes, but also the maps of every reality whose rules and structures are completely different. This is the point where the number of possibilities goes beyond counting. Think you've seen universes until now as a vast web. Every thread a different universe. But the eighth dimension is also the structure of that entire web, and also of all those webs whose rules might be different. It's like we start understanding a book story, another book story, and the patterns of all those stories together. Here, the talk isn't limited to just what could be. Rather, it becomes a complete map of what all is possible. To understand this in easy language, imagine a vast garden. In the sixth dimension, we saw that there are different trees in the garden, and every tree is a different universe. The seventh dimension showed us that all these trees are connected from the same soil and roots. But in the eighth dimension, we can see the entire forest from above. And not just this forest, but countless other forests whose soil, air, and weather can be completely different from each other. At this level, the patterns of reality are such that we can't fully understand them yet. Some scientists believe that if we ever experience the eighth dimension, we'd be able to see those rules that are beyond our universe. Like maybe there are realities where math itself works differently, where logic and rules are completely beyond our understanding. Now experience this thought in meditation. Close your eyes and think you're standing in an infinite field. Countless paths are spreading around you. Every path goes toward a different universe. But when you look from above, you realize that all these paths are forming a vast pattern together, like some wonderful geometric shape that never ends. This is the beauty of the eighth dimension. It gives us a sense of infinite patterns where every possibility, every rule, and every reality exists. At this level, another question arises. Is our consciousness also part of these patterns? Are we just living in one universe, or does our soul have a connection to this infinite structure? If this is true, it means we're all part of a cosmic design, and our every thought, every experience finds its place in that infinite pattern. And from here our journey takes us to the next stop, the ninth dimension. They will know that when infinite patterns aren't enough either, reality calls us toward even deeper mysteries. Chapter 10. The Ninth Dimension, the Edge of Infinity. Now we've reached that limit where both our thinking and imagination slowly start to tire. Understanding the ninth dimension is like standing at the edge of infinity. Here, we don't just talk about universes, their patterns, and their rules. Rather, we look at the possibility of all those infinite structures existing together. This is the point where the difference between possibility and reality becomes blurred. Imagine you're standing at the edge of an infinite ocean. Until now, we've seen different islands of this ocean. Every island was a universe. Then we understood the entire group of islands and the relationships between them. But in the ninth dimension, you don't just see islands or groups. You see the entire ocean, countless islands, countless water streams, and the infinite form of all those rules. This feeling explains to us that reality isn't just what we're living. It's also what we can never even think of. Now let's understand this with a simple example. Think you have a canvas. The first dimension is a straight line. The second dimension is a shape on it. The third dimension gives it depth. The fourth dimension changes it into time. And as we move forward, the canvas becomes bigger and more complex. But the ninth dimension is like you not only have one canvas, but you have countless canvases, and every possible picture that can be drawn on all of them already exists. These pictures aren't just physical, but could also be mathematical, philosophical, and related to consciousness. Try to experience this in meditation. Slowly breathe in and out. Now imagine you're standing on a high mountain peak. In the valleys below, you can see countless paths. Every path goes toward a life, toward a universe. But now your vision has become so broad that you can see all those paths in one picture. This is the ninth dimension, where different paths now become part of an infinite map. From a scientific perspective, the ninth dimension represents that level where there's a big framework above all physical and mathematical laws. It's like some programmer has made countless softwares, and every software works in its own world. The ninth dimension is like that programmer's language library from which every code, every rule, every possibility originates. But with this thought comes another deep thing. The ninth dimension really exists. Does it mean the number of universes is truly infinite? And if it's infinite, is everything you can think of already happening somewhere? This question shakes us to the core because it could also mean that your every imagination, every dream, every fear exists as a reality somewhere. This is where our journey becomes even deeper. The ninth dimension brings us to the threshold of infinity. But even after that, one more mystery remains: the 10th dimension. They will understand that final point where even infinity starts to seem limited and where the biggest secret of reality is hidden. Chapter 11. The 10th dimension, the ultimate reality. We've now reached that peak from where imagination and knowledge both go beyond their limits. Understanding the 10th dimension is like touching the final layer of all existence. This is the point where every universe, every possibility, every rule, and every infinite pattern merge together into one great structure. This is the ultimate reality, the source of all realities. Think all the dimensions we've seen so far were connected in an order. From the first to fourth, they explain our everyday world and time. From the fifth to ninth, they take us toward possibilities, alternate realities, and infinite patterns. But the 10th dimension is the essence of all. It's like you're reading a vast book in which not only is every universe's story written, but also the language in which all these stories became possible. To understand this in a simple way, think that what you've seen so far were all different tunes of music. Every universe was a different song. But the 10th dimension is that silence, that deep peace from which all tunes are born and to which they ultimately return. This is the point where every note becomes one, where every universe merges into one ocean. Now close your eyes and breathe slowly. Imagine there's an infinite ocean of light before you. It has no boundary, no shape. You're dissolving into it and feeling that your consciousness has become part of that ocean. Now you're not just one person, but the heartbeat of all existence. This experience is the symbol of the 10th dimension. This is the ultimate reality, where no I and you remain. Only oneness remains. From a scientific perspective, it's almost impossible to put the 10th dimension into words. Some theories believe this is the level where the theory of everything is hidden. A rule, a principle that can connect and explain the universe and everything beyond. It's like there's a final code from which the entire multiverse was made and operates. But this thought isn't just of science. Many philosophical and spiritual traditions have also talked about this ultimate reality. In Hindu philosophy, it's called Brahman. Buddhist ideology calls it emptiness or shunyata, and in Western philosophy, it's known as the Absolute. Different names, but the experience is the same. That point where everything becomes one. After reaching this level, the meaning of our journey changes. Now it's not just a story of counting dimensions. Rather, it becomes a journey of our consciousness. Because when we understand that everything ultimately emerged from one source and returns to it, we experience deep peace and contentment. And this is the gift of the 10th dimension, a perspective that takes us beyond our limits and gives us an experience of oneness with this vast universe. Now that we've completed this wonderful journey up to the final dimension, in the upcoming chapters, we'll connect this entire understanding to our everyday life and our consciousness. Because this exploration of dimensions isn't just a scientific story, It's also a path to peace and balance within us. Chapter 12. The 11th Dimension and M Theory. Now we reach that level where the most mysterious and deep concept of modern physics calls us. M Theory and the 11th Dimension. If the 10th dimension gave us an experience of ultimate reality, the 11th dimension explains to us how that final reality can be expressed physically and mathematically. This is the limit where both science and imagination reach their peak. M theory is an extension of modern string theory. It tells us that the basic units of our universe, which we call particles, aren't actually vibrating strings. Rather, they're higher dimensional objects called brains. These brains are multidimensional and can be completely located in the 11th dimension. In simple words, just like a thread is only in length, a brain can spread in many dimensions. And these brains are the foundation of our reality, our universe, and other possible universes. Imagine there's a vast library in front of you. In the 10th dimension, we saw that every universe is like a book. But in the 11th dimension, these books don't remain just books. They transform into multi-dimensional shelves connected to all branches of a vast library. Every shelf is the foundation of some universe, and they're all together connected on the basis of vibrations, energy, and potential. Here's another easy example. Think you're swimming in a pond. Waves are visible on the surface of the pond. This is our perceivable reality. But in the depth of the pond, where light reaches less, there are currents and flows that are different from the surface. M theory and the 11th dimension are also something like that. It's that deep structure that we can't see but makes everything possible. According to scientists, the 11th dimension is the point where all string theories connect together. Like we used to see many different rules and regulations before, but the 11th dimension tells us that their source is the same root. This thought gives us more depth in the study of the multiverse. It's also possible here that besides our universe, the rules and possibilities of other universes are located in different dimensions, but all are bound in the framework of M theory. Experiencing this for meditation and visualization is also wonderful. Close your eyes and think you're floating in infinite multi-dimensional space. Every vibration, every energy's oscillation is felt around you. You feel that your own consciousness is part of that vast brain network. This experience shows you that your existence isn't just in this 3D world. It's part of a multi-dimensional fabric. So M theory and the 11th dimension don't just help us understand how the universe was made. Rather, they also make us realize how vast, complex, and interconnected our reality is. Here, every object, every energy, and every possibility is located on some brain, and all together they form that wonderful cosmos that we experience. And this is the deep secret of the 11th dimension. It's that mathematical and physical form of ultimate reality where infinite possibilities, parallel universes, and the structures of the universe are all interconnected. This is the dimension that connects science and consciousness together and shows us that our understanding and perception are just the beginning. Chapter 13. Quantum Dimensions, Tiny Worlds Hidden at Subatomic Levels. Now we're about to enter that wonderful and mysterious world that we can't see with everyday eyes. Quantum dimensions, or the subatomic world. This is the level where the rules of our familiar universe slowly start to change, and infinite possibilities are hidden in the world of tiny particles. Imagine you're standing on a vast mountain. The river flowing below looks still and clear to you. But if you could see every drop of that river's water, you'd find that inside every drop, there are countless particles, energy, and vibrations happening. This is the quantum world, a microscopic universe hidden from our perception. Quantum physics tells us that in this microscopic world, particles never appear in a definite form. Their position and motion can't both be completely certain at the same time. This is called Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. In simple words, if you know a particle's location, you can't accurately guess its motion. And if you know its motion, the location becomes unclear. This rule is completely opposite to our everyday world's experience, but quantum dimensions aren't limited to just rules. Phenomena like superposition and entanglement exist here. Superposition means a particle can be in multiple states at once, like a coin in the air being both heads and tails at the same time. Entanglement means two particles, no matter how far apart, can instantaneously affect each other's state. This shows that in the quantum world, our classical understanding doesn't work, and the boundaries of time and place become flexible. Now, to make experiencing this easier, use meditation. Close your eyes and think you're floating in a microscopic universe. Every particle, every vibration is spinning around you. You can feel that there different possibilities exist together. At the same time, one particle is in multiple states, and your consciousness is observing it. This experience shows you that quantum dimensions aren't just theoretical. They exist for our perception and affect our reality. These quantum dimensions also have a deep connection with our bigger universe. Scientists believe that quantum events happening at small levels, like particle behavior, can affect the structure and evolution of the bigger universe. Meaning from the subatomic level to the multiverse, everything is interconnected. This realization gives our consciousness even more expansion. We're not just 3D humans, we're also parts of the quantum fabric. And this is the beauty of quantum dimensions. It shows us that the world around us isn't as stable and certain as it seems. Infinite possibilities are hidden in every particle, and our perception and awareness can turn them into reality. This chapter prepares us for the next journey, where we'll connect the effect of dimensions to our consciousness and life experiences. Chapter 14. Dimensions in Black Holes. How extreme gravity bends space and time. Now, we move toward that mysterious and powerful place where physical rules go beyond our normal understanding. Black holes, meaning such massive gravitational objects that pull even light inside them. Black holes aren't just huge things. They also give a glimpse of the deep secrets of dimensions and explain to us how extreme gravity can bend space and time. Imagine you're standing on a vast trampoline. If you just put a light ball, the trampoline bends slightly. But if you place a heavy ball there, heavier than even the sun, the fabric of the trampoline will bend deeply. This same effect happens in black holes. But the scale is so vast that even light can't escape here. This extreme gravity distorts the fabric of space-time so much that time and distance they become completely different from our understanding. Einstein's general relativity tells us that gravity isn't just pulling something, it bends space-time. Black holes are the most extreme example of this. If you go near a black hole, you'll slowly feel your perception of time and space changing. For you, the clock will start running slower, and distances might appear shrinking and expanding. This is known as time dilation and spaghettification. In clear words, if an astronaut reaches the event horizon, meaning the boundary of the black hole, for outside observers, their motion will appear very slow. But the astronaut will feel they're slowly falling toward the black hole. This event shows us how extreme gravity can twist and distort dimensions. Here, space doesn't remain just length, width, and height. It becomes flexible. Now feel this for meditation and visualization. Close your eyes and think you're standing at the edge of a vast, deep pit. Below, an invisible vortex is spinning. As you get closer to the vortex, you realize that the ground, sky, and time are all distorting. You can slowly feel your consciousness being stretched along with that space-time fabric, and everything is spinning around you like a vast whirlpool. Black holes also explain to us that dimensions exist beyond our 3D perception. Scientists believe that the singularity, meaning the center of a black hole, is the point where all known dimensions collapse, and the need for higher dimensions is felt. This is the place where quantum dimensions and extreme gravity together challenge our perception. The deepest message of this chapter is that black holes aren't just mysteries. They're real proof of the powers of dimensions. There we see that space and time aren't stable. They're flexible, can twist, and in extreme conditions, they completely transform. Black holes teach us that even the most wonderful and powerful phenomena of the universe are deeply connected to the power of dimensions. With this understanding, we'll move toward the next chapter in that mystery where time travel and higher dimensions appear theoretically possible within our perception. Chapter 15. Time travel and higher dimensions, exploring the possibilities. Now we move toward that imaginative yet scientifically grounded concept that we often see in films and books. Time travel and how it might be connected to higher dimensions. When we step outside the four-dimensional boundary of time and space, we understand that time isn't just linear. In the context of higher dimensions, time, space, and possibility become fluid and flexible by connecting with each other. Imagine time is like a straight road. In everyday life, we walk on this road, one beginning, one end. But in higher dimensions, this road can twist, fold, and loop. This means theoretically you could go back to an event or see some event in the future. This isn't just imagination. In some theories of Einstein's relativity and modern physics, these possibilities are hidden. Einstein said that when an object moves with extreme gravity or near the speed of light, time slows down. This is called time dilation. For a simple example, think if an astronaut travels near a black hole, time moves very slowly for them, while on Earth some years pass. For the astronaut, only a few hours or days. In higher dimensions, such conditions can theoretically allow us to observe events from the past or future. This is also connected to the concept of time travel in a way, where past, present, and future can all exist simultaneously in a higher dimensional framework. Now think about wormholes. These are theoretical tunnels in space-time that can connect two distant points. If a wormhole is stable, you could theoretically enter one side and come out at another point in space or time. This concept is deeply connected to higher dimensions because wormholes bend and fold space-time in ways that we can't experience in our 3D world. For meditation, close your eyes and imagine you're standing in a vast corridor where time flows in all directions. You can see your past self walking ahead, your future self standing in the distance, and your present self in the middle. This isn't chaos. Rather, it's a beautiful pattern where all moments exist together in a higher dimensional space. This feeling shows you that time isn't just a one-way street. It's a vast landscape. Scientists believe that if we ever gain access to higher dimensions, time travel might become possible. But this requires technology and understanding that we haven't achieved yet. Still, the theoretical possibility exists, and it opens our minds to think that the boundaries of reality are far more flexible than we imagine. This chapter teaches us that time isn't our prison. It's a dimension that, when understood deeply, can open doors to infinite possibilities. With this thought, we'll move toward the next chapter where we'll see how dimensions affect our consciousness and spiritual experiences. Chapter 16. Dimensions and Consciousness, a Spiritual Perspective. Now we reach that beautiful point where science and spirituality meet. Dimensions aren't just physical structures or mathematical concepts. They're also deeply connected to our consciousness and spiritual experiences. When we talk about meditation, dreams, and deep awareness, we're actually touching those dimensions that exist beyond our physical perception. Think about when you meditate deeply. Your mind becomes calm, your breathing slows down, and you feel as if you've gone beyond your body. You feel connected to something vast, something infinite. This experience isn't just psychological. Many spiritual traditions believe that in these moments, our consciousness touches higher dimensions. In Hindu philosophy, it's said that our soul, our Atman, is connected to Brahman, the ultimate reality. This is the same concept we saw in the 10th dimension, where everything merges into one. Buddhism speaks of emptiness and interconnectedness, showing that our individual existence is part of a larger cosmic web, similar to the 7th and 8th dimensions. Now imagine this for visualization. Close your eyes and feel that your consciousness is slowly expanding. It's moving beyond your body, beyond this room, beyond Earth, and spreading into the universe. You realize that you're not separate from the stars, planets, or galaxies. You're part of that infinite fabric. This is the spiritual dimension of existence. Scientific research is also starting to explore the connection between consciousness and quantum dimensions. Some theories suggest that consciousness itself might be a quantum phenomenon operating at levels beyond our normal 3D perception. This means that when we think, dream, or become aware, we're interacting with dimensions we can't physically see. Dreams are another interesting example. In dreams, the rules of time and space don't work the way they do when we're awake. You can jump from one place to another instantly, meet people who aren't physically present, and experience events that defy logic. Some spiritual teachers believe that in dreams, our consciousness briefly visits other dimensions or parallel realities. For a meditative experience, imagine you're standing at the center of a glowing sphere. This sphere is your consciousness. As you breathe, the sphere expands, and with each breath, it touches new layers of reality. First, your immediate surroundings, then the world, then the universe, and finally, it merges with the infinite dimensions beyond. You feel that you're not just a small being. You're part of the cosmic consciousness that spans all dimensions. This chapter reminds us that dimensions aren't just about physics and math. They're also about understanding who we are at the deepest level. Our consciousness might be the bridge that connects all dimensions, and when we quiet our mind and turn inward, we can touch those realities that science is only beginning to explore. With this profound understanding, we'll move toward the next chapter where we'll see how dimensions can help us understand the meaning of life and our place in this vast cosmos. Chapter 17. The meaning of life through dimensions. Now we reach that philosophical and deeply personal part of our journey where we ask, what is the meaning of life? And how can understanding dimensions help us answer this ancient question? When we see ourselves as part of a multi-dimensional universe, our perspective on existence, purpose, and meaning completely transforms. In our everyday three-dimensional life, we often feel limited. We worry about our small problems, chase temporary goals, and sometimes feel lost. But when we zoom out and see ourselves in the context of dimensions, from the first dimension to the 11th, we realize how vast and interconnected everything is. Think about it. You're not just a body moving through 3 dimensions of space. You're also traveling through time, the 4th dimension. Every moment you live adds to your story. And in the 5th dimension, all the choices you didn't make also exist as possibilities. In the 6th dimension, countless versions of your life might be playing out in parallel universes. And in higher dimensions, all these realities are part of one grand cosmic design. This understanding can be deeply liberating. It tells us that we're not insignificant specks in a cold, uncaring universe. Rather, we're vital threads in the infinite fabric of existence. Every thought we think, every action we take, every breath we breathe contributes to the pattern of reality itself. For meditation, close your eyes and feel this truth. Imagine you're looking at your life from above, seeing all the paths you've taken, all the choices you've made. Then zoom out further and see all the paths you could have taken. Then zoom out even more and see countless versions of yourself in different universes. And finally, zoom out to see that all of this, every possibility, every reality, is part of one beautiful, unified whole. This perspective helps us live with more peace and acceptance. When we understand that we're part of something infinite, our small worries become less heavy. When we realize that every moment is precious because it's one unique thread in the cosmic tapestry, we learn to appreciate the present more deeply. The meaning of life, through the lens of dimensions, isn't something we have to search for outside ourselves. It's already within us. We are the universe experiencing itself through consciousness. We are the way dimensions become aware of themselves. And this realization is both humbling and empowering. So as we continue breathing, relaxing, and moving towards sleep or deep meditation, let this thought settle in your heart. You are infinite, you are connected to everything, and your existence has meaning simply because you are part of this magnificent multi-dimensional cosmos. Conclusion: the journey never ends. Friends, we've taken an incredible journey together. From a simple dot to a line, from a surface to our three-dimensional world, from time to space-time, from possibilities to parallel universes, from cosmic networks to quantum dimensions, and finally to the ultimate reality where all dimensions merge into one. But remember, this journey never truly ends. Every day as you wake up, you're experiencing these dimensions. Every breath you take moves through time. Every choice you make creates ripples across the fabric of possibilities. And every moment of awareness connects you to the infinite. Mr. Sleepy Science will continue bringing you more such journeys, explorations into the mysteries of the universe, always in a way that helps you relax, sleep, and connect with something greater than yourself. So now, let your eyes remain closed. Let your breathing become even more gentle. Feel yourself floating in the infinite ocean of dimensions. You are safe. You are connected. You are home. Sweet dreams, dear friends. Until we meet again on another journey through the cosmos.